particular task force, the 800 task force, you think so successful at what they did?
Well, I think they were success. I mean, at the end of the day, they were successful. I mean, the detective who is the supervisor in the case, he told me from the very beginning that the case was going to be solved through DNA. I mean, these guys bent over backwards. You know, there was like 7 or 8, task force members, and they bent over backwards. I mean, they went through the murder books again. You know, they literally followed hundreds of people, around, like witnesses from the 80s. And, they were getting like hundreds of calls themselves, like thousands of calls, and they were following people around, like obtaining, DNA swabs and things like that. Like they actually went to Georgia. There was one, they thought that there was a minister that might be involved. And so they actually flew to Georgia, and he was in a crypt, and they actually opened up the crypt and got a DNA sample. Because it was mostly about getting DNA, right? Because it's like, this case was like trying to find a needle in a haystack. I mean, how difficult, it's a body dump left there, back in the 80s and even 2002, 2003, 2007. I mean, no witnesses, the bodies were dumped, they were killed somewhere else and then dumped in the alley. I mean, it was a miracle that they actually were able to find him, and so soon, too. I mean, a lot of the cases, look at what happened with the Green River Killer. It was like 20-something years before they finally caught him. Same with BTK.
I remember, too. I was around for living in the area, and a lot of people were very angry after all those years, and they still hadn't caught the guy. And I'm going, it's just like you said, though. You're looking for a needle in a haystack. I mean, it's expecting a lot, really, and it's really lucky that guy's kid got busted the year before they nabbed him.
Well, I don't think they ever, if it wasn't for that familial DNA and that his son busted, I don't think they ever would have caught. Yeah. I think it was just too difficult. It was just too hard. They were really lucky. I think they were pretty shocked themselves.
Yeah, I'm sure that was somebody delivering a golden goose.
Well, and all these guys, a lot of them were retiring, so this was like their last big case, right? So this was kind of the big case of their career, and to be able to solve it, it was just, what a great way to retire, right, on that note.
That's pretty awesome, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you knew these guys. Did they have a big party when the whole thing was over?
Well, they probably did, but they didn't invite me.
Oh, damn it.
Oh, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
No, I did go to, at first my relationship with them, it wasn't very good, but I think as the time went by, like I called them up and, give them, this person called me, did you check them out? And they'd be like, yeah, we already checked that person out or whatever. So and they'd have, police press conferences all the time, and I'd go there and, talk to them. So I think they begrudgingly were okay with me. And then, so when they retired, I was invited to two of the detectives' retirement parties. So I thought that was pretty good. And I'm still in contact with a couple of the detectives still.
Nice.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah.
Joe, do you have any other questions?
Well, you're with People now. You're not in the LA beat so much anymore. So I was just going to ask, just by chance, are you following any active serial killers right now?
Well, I'm working on a case actually. Not working on, but there's another serial killer, but he's in jail right now pending trial, and he was a serial killer who murdered one of, there was a girl that was dating actually Ashton Kutcher at the time, back in 2001, and he lived in Chicago and allegedly killed a young girl there, and then moved to Los Angeles, and then killed 3 women here, and so he's sitting in county jail waiting for his trial, which is probably going to come in November. But there's a few cases like the Long Island serial killer, that's one that I've done a lot of work on, that one, but that's not in LA. I do a lot of LA cases, but I don't, there is one case, but it's not a murder case. It's this case called the Teardrop Rapist, and there's this rapist who's been raping women, like Hispanic women, and he's also Hispanic since the 80s, almost as prolific as Lonnie Franklin. He raped over 50 women from like the late 80s, and they still haven't caught him, and they've tried familial DNA testing and everything, and he's still on the loose, and his last victim was a couple of years ago.
Dang.
Sorry, there was a pause there. We were all just kind of Ugh.
Yeah.
No, I don't like to
Thinking
think about that.
yeah.
I just keep hoping that guy is going to run into somebody who's got a big old knife or a gun on her. That would end the whole thing. That'd be kind of nice.
That actually.
Well, he was just. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I've actually just recently read an article, I can't remember where this woman was, of some guy who met a woman through some website and he came over. It was very obvious that he intended to end her life, and she turned the tables on him. And, you know, he's dead in the ground, and they can't figure out, I can't remember who his name is now. I just read it the other day. And she took him out, and they were like, "Oh yeah, no, he had shovels, he had stuff. He was going to remove your body." Sometimes that happens, Joe.
Well, I know it warms my heart to hear about it too.
What they call it, the hero hooker or something like that.
Yeah.
I can't remember. It was really the name wasn't.
I heard about that case too. I think it was back east, right? Maybe around Cleveland or somewhere. And the girl, he came over to her house and he jumped her, and then she had. I forget what she had, and she just beat him to a pulp, and then they ended up finding all this in the back of his trunk. He had all this, like ropes and all this other stuff, and then they found out that he was responsible for like 3 or 4 other murders.
Yeah, and they couldn't figure out how he was funding his cross-country tour of killing, because he was like a night security guard or something like that. The details are pretty soft at this point in my brain, but...
That's pretty awesome.
So, go ahead, Joe.
No, I was going to say, last question about California, since you're still living there. This is really off. It's serial killers, but they're kind of in my serial killer hall of fame, which would be Leonard Blake and Charles Ng. And I know Charles Ng, last I heard, is on death row in California. Is he still on death row? They finally get it, because he was sentenced in like 1999. And last I heard, he's still alive. Do you know if they finally knocked him off or not?
You know what? I'm not sure, but I believe he's still on death row.
Oh, is he really?
Sounds like a simple Google search, Joe.
Oh yeah, I suppose that. Well, I'm not near a computer right now, except the one that we're using to talk to her. So I can't really do it.
Fair.
It didn't occur to me till just now. I wonder what's going on with Charles Ng. I wonder if he's dead yet.
Probably not.
No.
I don't think so. I don't think he is.
Okay. Christine, we've been remiss in this so far, and I'll make sure that this is in the beginning of the everything when we release, but I forgot to ask to make sure that we had given the full title of the name of your book. So can you share that with everybody real fast?
Oh, sure. It's The Grim Sleeper, The Lost Women of South Central.
And is this your first book? Or you've written others?
Yep.
Oh, it is? Okay, for some reason...
No, it's my first and probably only book.
Well, congratulations. That's a great accomplishment.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to write a book
Thank
for
you.
a long time now, and I still haven't quite achieved it. I haven't even written the first page.
How was the experience?
I just thought,
Oh, go ahead.
I just thought in this case it was just if the detectives weren't going to write the story, or the prosecutors, or family members of of the victims, if they weren't going to do it, I just thought that I was since I had been young, and I kept I had all my notes and I knew everybody involved. So if anyone was going to write it, I just felt like I should, and if I was ever going to write a book, I thought to myself, this is the book that I should write, because this is the one I know so well. I know everybody involved. I know the case.
Oh, it is
So
amazing.
that's why I decided.
I mean, the hurdles they came up and the gaps and everything. I kept reading it. I will admit there was a couple of times I thought maybe you took a little bit of artistic license until I figured out. I was like, no, holy crap, this really happened.
Real. Yeah.
Well, I just think that, like, this case in particular, I just thought that it was a case that people should know about, because I know, there's a lot of cases out there that get a lot more attention, and I felt like there wasn't enough attention to this case and to the victims. And so I just really wanted to make people aware of, who the victims were, and, they mattered, their families mattered, So to me, it was, like, important for that to get out there, because, as you guys do a lot of crime. There's a lot of stories that you never hear about, and they're just as important as every other story, So I just wanted this, I wanted people to know who, Deborah was, and Henrietta, and Bernita, and Janisha, and, all his victims. So
No, absolutely.
that's why I did it.
Well, that's great. I mean, we tend to like the smaller, lesser known mysteries for that reason, because everybody could talk about Ted Bundy every day, but everybody already knows that story.
Yeah, everybody talks about John Bonet, and we're like, we're not gonna do that. There's so many other more interesting cases that we could find, and do more justice to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And they just never get the attention. So, this guy was like the most prolific serial killer, in like Los Angeles history, and people should know about it. People should know about the victims and who they were and, what happened. And, and it's just a really interesting story as well, just from the very beginning. I mean, him being in the military and just, all the way through. So, I think I just think it's a compelling, tale that people should read.
Well, and for everybody who wants to pick up a copy and read the tale, where can people find it? I mean, is it an ebook? Is it at certain retailers?
Oh yeah, you could get it. It's a new release at Barnes & Noble. You could get it at any bookstore pretty much. You can get it online on Amazon. You could go to my website, christinepelisek.com, and there's a link to Amazon where you could get it on Amazon. If you're in Canada, you could get it on Amazon.ca or Indigo.ca. I was just in Canada, and I'm Canadian. That's why I'm saying that.
I was wondering if you're Canadian. You say,
Yes.
yeah, you sound slightly Canadian.
I say exit out.
Yeah, you say A lot, yeah.
Talk about maple syrup like constantly.
So yeah, I think you could pretty much get it most places.
Cool. All right.
Awesome.
Okay, well, we've decimated this question and list that I have in front of me.
Well, we more than decimated it.
Yeah.
If we decimated, we would only have executed 1 out of 10. I have to keep reminding people about that.
So is there any last bits that you'd like to bring up for folks to know about the case or the book or anything like that before we wrap everything up?
No, I don't think so. I think I can't recall anything else.
Okay.
I just think that people, I just think it's an interesting story that everyone should, know about it.
We agree.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it has been a lot of fun to get to chat with you. Again, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. I had a lot of fun.
And also,
I hope I made sense.
you totally did. I told best of luck with sales of your book. I hope it's a runaway bestseller, and I can picture it now with Tom Cruise as a handsome police detective and Denzel Washington as a serial killer. And so we'll see, we'll see what happens. You never know. I'll keep our fingers crossed for you.
And whoever you want to play you.
Oh yeah, good point.
Yes.
I was thinking Charlize Theron.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding.
All right, that works.
Good pick.
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Thank you again, and you have a good evening.
Yeah, thank you guys very much. I really appreciate it. Nice chatting with you guys.
You too. Bye-bye. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. This episode of Thinking Sideways is not brought to you by the vibrant colors of the ninth dimension. Instead, it's brought to you by MurderCon, a convention for murderers by murderers, all about murders. If you want to get in cheap and easy, use the promo code SIDEWAYS to get 10% off your body. See you there!
Thinking sideways. Thinking sideways. Thinking sideways. Thinking sideways.
Thinking Sideways. Stories of things we simply don't know the answer to.
Hi there. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Sideways. I'm your host, Joe, joined as always by
Devin.
and
Steve!
And this week we're going to talk about another fantastic mystery. We're going to talk about the mysterious case of Jerry Michael Williams of Tallahassee, Florida. Known to his family and friends as Mike. We are going to call him the subject here.
No, we're going to call him Mike.
Oh, okay, fine. We'll call him Mike. Mike was 31 years old when he was last seen. He'd been married to his wife Denise for about 6 years. They had a 1-year-old daughter.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. And, oh, by the way, I want to give a shout out to Renee, who suggested this. Renee, if you're still out there, she suggested this back in 2015, so it's been a while. Thanks,
That
Renee.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have suggestions from way earlier than that. So.
Yeah.
Time go.
We just thought we would let this one just sort of ripen for a while.
Yeah.
Well, back to Mike. Mike was a real estate appraiser. He was known to be a very hard worker, made really good money. He and his wife Denise had bought a very nice upscale house in East Tallahassee, which I guess is a better part of town. I don't know.
Yeah.
Never been there. Being responsible parents, they took out a life insurance policy on Mike for $1 million.
And is that when they took out the life insurance policy? Was after their daughter was born?
I believe so. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was not too long after
Okay.
that. Yeah. That's often when people start thinking about stuff like that, when they're
True,
either about to
yeah.
have a kid or just had a kid. You know?
Yeah, I'm thinking about it as I'm about to get married, mostly because I definitely plan on murdering him.
Exactly.
For the
Yeah,
insurance
yeah,
money.
yeah. Get more on him.
Works
than on
out
you.
well.
Yeah.
I recommend
absolutely.
diving on your honeymoon.
Yeah, perfect.
Australian
Yeah.
honeymoon. Yeah. Back to our story. The insurance broker in this case was a guy named Brian Winchester, who was a good friend of Mike's, actually. Apparently some sort of childhood acquaintance of his wife's, but they had become somehow good friends. Brian Winchester, by the way, is now in prison, but that's a whole different story.
Is he related to of Winchester fame?
I do not
gun-
know. I do
gun
not
manufacturer?
know. That is, I don't know.
So, have we not covered this story before? Because this one
No.
sounds really, really familiar to me.
No.
No.
I don't think.
I
No?
don't think so. No, it's kind of similar to some of the other disappearance stories. but
Okay.
it's a
All
little
right.
different.
This sounds really, really familiar, but okay.
Yeah,
All right, keep
yeah.
going.
No, okay. Well, back to Mike. He was kind of into duck hunting, and sometimes he'd
The
go out.
Nintendo game?
Yeah, no, different one. Real duck
Oh.
hunting.
Oh.
Yeah, there are actually people who still do that. It's called analog duck hunting. So sometimes, yeah, you take your analog shotgun, which is made of steel and not plastic, and yeah, you go out to the lake and hide until the ducks show up, and then bluey.
I guess the nice thing is, though, in analog duck hunting, the dog doesn't laugh at you when you miss. So, okay, I can see the
And
appeal.
also, in the ideal, you don't shoot the dog.
No, can you shoot the dog in duck hunting? I have not done the.
Which
digital
stops him
version of
from
that.
laughing.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah, your dog is laughing at you for sure, but you don't hear it. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
And also, don't shoot him.
Yeah,
and
don't do that.
don't shoot your dog.
Or her.
They will
Yeah.
shoot back.
No. But on the
Sorry,
morning.
back to the story.
Yeah, let's get back to our story. December 16th, 2000, Mike left the house early to go hunting, and he never returned. Eventually, his boat was found abandoned on Lake Seminole, which is a huge reservoir about 40 miles northwest of Tallahassee, up in the Georgia border. It's where these two large rivers come together, and they've dammed it there, so it's this gigantic V-shaped lake that's got like almost 400 miles of coastline. It's a big lake.
And was that a typical place for him to go duck hunting?
That I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know where his favorite duck hunting spots
Okay.
are. I don't know why he picked that particular spot because, I mean, there are other decent-sized lakes nearer to Tallahassee.
Yeah.
But, maybe the duck hunting was just especially good up there or something. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Who knows?
Yeah, but anyway, the boat was found abandoned. Mike was nowhere to be seen, dead or alive. So there was a general assumption by the police that he'd fallen out of his boat and drowned, which is not an unreasonable assumption, really.
No.
But they dragged and searched the lake really extensively, and they never found his body, which is a little weird because, I mean, actually something like about 80 people have drowned in that lake, and they've always found the body.
Huh.
Yeah. And
Okay.
in this
I mean, I
case-
guess it's a reservoir, so
But,
you'd want to find the body.
but on the other hand, there are also lots of alligators in that lake.
Oh.
So, it is
We know what they
conceivable. Yeah, you know what they do for a living, right? Yeah, okay.
It's like a game of Frogger. You run across them. From
yeah,
log to
there you go.
alligator to log to alligator to the other side.
Uh-huh. Yeah. No, if they're kind enough to line themselves up like that, then yeah, for
Well,
sure.
it's all about timing, brother.
Yeah,
Have
oh, I
you
know.
seen that picture, though? You know how alligators and crocodiles
Get frozen.
know how they sit underwater?
Mm-hmm.
They're not like logs.
Their nose up.
They're
an
they're
angle?
like at an angle, so like their heads are floating, but their feet are on their back feet are on the bottom.
Or, yeah,
It's for
That
some
makes
reason
sense.
that's extra creepy to me. I don't know why.
that makes sense. So
Yeah.
they've got more leverage to launch themselves into action quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, that do make
That's
sense.
probably why it is more scary and weird to me. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry.
Oh, yeah. But alligators are really kind of fascinating, They're kind of,
They are.
it's almost kind of cute in a sort of a prehistoric monster.
Bite your head off kind of way.
Terrifying
Yeah,
kind
in
of
the same way that
Yeah.
T-Rexes are kind of cute.
Yeah,
they're
sort of like
snuggly.
that. Yeah, they're so ugly, they're cute. Well, anyway, back to Mike. The police concluded that it was a drowning and probably got eaten by alligators. They closed the case. And then Mike's waders were found in the lake about 6 months after he disappeared.
Well,
And then about 7 months after he disappeared, his widow, Denise, petitioned to have him declared legally dead.
okay.
Eventually, she married Mike's buddy, Brian Winchester, who's the guy that's in jail now.
Are you sure we've never talked about this?
Yeah,
This story.
yeah. No.
Like, even if it wasn't off, like, this story sounds really, really familiar. Like,
Nah.
I swear I know something about this.
No.
You know nothing.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, I checked the episode list because when I was reading it, I was like, this does sound familiar,
Okay,
but
so
I
it's not
checked.
just me? Oh,
No.
Okay.
We haven't done it before.
No,
All right,
no, we have not.
The thing about the waiters just really stuck in my mind. But okay, keep
Oh,
going.
I thought I got that from cartoons, because
Cartoon conspiracies?
No, cartoons, because like an alligator like eats a person and they're wearing clothes and then spits the shoes back up. And, I just assumed that was why that sounded familiar. to me.
Okay.
Probably was. That's probably where you got it from. But Mike's gone. Case is closed. But his mother, Cheryl Williams, did not accept the drowning theory. She kept nagging the police to reopen the case. And along about 2004, they did. Apparently, somebody did a little research, and they found out that alligators don't eat in the wintertime. Apparently, the water gets cold. They go kind of dormant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Have you ever? That's what I was mentioning earlier when you were saying
Oh, how
about
they
the
get
alligators. Have you ever
frozen?
seen the frozen alligators?
No.
When the water freezes, you see all these little snouts sticking out of the ice because they're keeping their heads above water just enough so they can breathe, but they're kind of stuck there in place. It's the creepiest thing in the world. You creeped out by angled alligators? Look at frozen
No, I'm
alligators.
good.
I gotta actually, go to a frozen lake sometime and like stop their noses up and kill them, and then just say I killed an alligator with my bare hands.
I think that's probably really illegal, but go ahead. Go ahead.
Probably. Plus, actually, I'd be too scared to do it because what if the alligator wakes up and breaks the ice and kills me? Yeah.
You'd be like, what's his name
Yeah.
on that Adam Sandler movie with the one wooden hand?
Oh yeah. That does happen, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I knew somebody I worked with was in Florida, and they went to one of those parks that has all the gators, and apparently somebody while they were there kind of lost his hand because he got a little fresh with an alligator.
Nobody likes fresh alligators.
No.
Yeah. No, alligators don't like fresh humans.
They kind of.
Well, they like
They
it for
do,
eating, but
yeah.
they don't like it smart alligators.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Got
talking
it.
about
Okay.
here.
Okay, so
Yeah, but anyway, so after they figured that out, then that makes the lack of a body seem a little stranger. So they reopened the investigation.
smart.
Yeah, but that's about where the case still is. It's been open for all these years since 2004, but no real new evidence has come to light. There's been a lot of speculation about what his fate was. A lot of different theories out there. So what the hell happened to him? Here are some of the theories. Accidental drowning, which is, of course, the first presumed theory. Another one is that maybe he committed suicide. Maybe, life was just too much. He decided to kill himself and throw himself to the gators. Or, I like this one a little bit, he faked his death by leaving his empty boat on a lake full of alligators, assuming that would explain no body, and then just went off to start a new life somewhere. Or maybe he was murdered.
Of course.
Yeah.
Because everybody has murder on the brain ever since that Stephen Avery documentary thing.
Oh, I know.
Always murder.
I know. I mean, all the suggestions we get is just murder. Most people don't actually die of murder, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Yeah, statistically, it's unlikely. All right, and then we have one last theory, and this is actually my personal favorite, which is maybe the ducks got him.
They
Turned the tables on him.
so that would also be murder in a way, wouldn't it?
Not if it's ducks, although it would be foul play.
Oh, God.
I get yelled at for puns.
Oh, my
Yeah, I know.
God.
Not to make them anymore.
Oh, that's
I totally
bad.
set you guys up for that, yeah. So those are the theories out there. But before we go into the theories, let's take a break.
The light around you is wan and cold, just like your soul. You stare into the darkness and wonder what it's all about. Why is it this way? How did it get so strange? Who made it so these were your only options? Indecision grips you. Like that time when you were 8 in that spelling bee and couldn't decide if apocalypse began with APAC or Jethro Tull. You fretted and worried. You could feel the rush of sweat spreading across your scalp and moving down to the collar of your shirt. Why did it have to make it feel like you were choking? That collar was your mother's choice, and it felt like she was strangling you, stopping you from making the right decision. You fretted so long that eventually the buzzer went off. No, That was your alarm clock going off. The sound of the buzzer blaring was not the judge disqualifying you again for not spelling apocalypse, but instead the wake-up call to yet another day of drudgery. And it is at that moment you realize you couldn't take it anymore. You just couldn't. Something had to change. Which is how you ended up here, staring into the darkness, trying to figure it all out and make the right choice. Which avocado in the pile was the right one? The answer is all of them. That's right. The International Avocado Board wants you to know that they are all the right choice. So make some avocado toast for breakfast, blend it into a drink for a nice creamy snack, dice it up on your salad at lunch, and toss it onto your chicken for dinner. Avocados, blocking out the sadness since October 19th, 1653.
And we're back. All right, now let's get into theories. First theory, let's start with the ducks.
Hey.
What?
So, while we were on a break, I did some Googling.
Oh,
Because I was starting to agree with Steve, this sounded familiar.
Wait, well, yeah, but I thought we had that moratorium on internet surfing while recording.
Yeah, sorry, I was bored.
All right,
This is a boring case.
I got it.
This is a really boring case.
is
The best
not a
theory we
boring
have
case.
is ducks. Anyway,
That
it
is a
doesn't
good
really matter
theory.
because it was solved. They found the body
They did?
in, December 2017.
Oh, like 2 months ago?
Yeah.
Not even 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Oh,
How long
wow.
ago did you do the research on this?
More than 2 months ago.
Okay.
Stupid police.
It's annoying when those guys solve everything.
Yeah.
Well, they haven't solved this one though, right?
I mean,
They found the body anyway. All right, so we got our theories. Does anybody have a favorite theory?
murder.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stick with the ducks. Go ducks.
Yeah.
All right, dude.
Okay.
Enjoy.
All righty then. Anyway, if you're Mike's killer and you want to send us an email, our email address is thinkingsidewayspodcast@gmail.com.
So, wait. So we're all done. There's a problem here, guys.
What?
What's
Because
that?
we're like
15 minutes in.
at best.
Yeah.
And we have 45 minutes more of.
Oh,
Yeah.
do we really have to do an hour-long episode?
Yeah,
We
that's
set the
kind of
bar.
expected.
It's
Actually,
our fault.
actually, I have been taping a lot of my conversations with my cats.
No,
Maybe our listeners
but
like to hear that.
haven't you been saving bloopers from this entire year?
Yeah, I have.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well, let's just do that.
Well, okay, let's do that, and then we'll publish Joe's conversations with his cats for the
Oh,
people
yeah.
who sleep, who go to sleep to us, and they'll pass out listening
Yeah,
to
yeah.
that.
Pay attention to that. There will be a book also sooner or later. You can
They'll
put
just wake
somebody
up to Joe being like, "Oh, Boozle, you're such a good boy."
on. Yeah. Yeah. And also cold case discussions, expert panels. There'll be famous guests that you may have heard of, like Nancy Grace, Ron Johnson, Carl Marino, Kirk Nermy, who's he? Cheryl McCollum.
Just want to talk about how Joe looks at me
Uh,
and says, "Do you remember that disco song?"
Of course, I know.
Well, you're the music historian of the team.
I know.
I know,
You're
I'm-
supposed to know.
I'm the old one. It's true.
Yeah, you are. You're an old soul. Okay, let me move my microphone around a little bit here. More. Gate. Didn't do that quite right.
No,
Yeah.
I don't think you did at all.
More. Gate.
All right.
Okay,
Good
we're ready.
You red eye?
Oh, for Christ's sake. Don't want to hear you sing.
I
Yeah,
don't, because
yeah.
it's terrible. Your singing is not that good.
Thanks.
We
Bob.
have fantastic mics, and it turns out they capture your singing voice quite accurately, and it's not good.
Really?
You can't blame the microphone.
Oh, yeah, I was going to record a song for our fans, but I guess not.
Have you listened to the bloopers?
No.
Yeah, okay.
No. I will listen
I
to
was
it.
gonna say there's an ongoing obsession throughout the entire thing where you're just like, I wanted to record a song. I want to sing more.
Father, I don't want all that. I just want to sing.
Okay, ready.
All right, let's get going.
Kind of shorter all the way around or shorter in the front? You know, shorter but more off the front. You don't know?
I'm done with haircuts.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
I don't know. That's a big decision. You know what? If I were you,
Yeah.
you know what I would do? Because I found this look works with the ladies
Yeah.
is I would buzz it really short
Yeah.
and then shave the top down.
Oh, really? Yeah,
Yes.
Like with a blade?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
But you got to keep up on the shaving regiment though.
Actually, you know what I've heard really works with those.
And then you get to the back, and
Yeah.
you gotta shave that little circle in the back.
Yeah.
That drives them nuts.
No, what the chicks really dig is when you grow it out, not like this, but you grow some of it really super long.
Just tufts of it.
And